So, hey, I gotta switch right. Oh, cool. Hey, another Saturday morning. Time for
Sure.
mom's favorites and dad's favorites to pick some games today.
Let's do it.
Which, by the way, both of those names actually belong to me. Just so you know. Okay, so the Emmy Award winning, Oscar Award winning, Golden Globe winning. I hear a record deal is in the works. The intro music coming up now.
Are you ready for the intro music?
I'm never ready for the intro music, but it's one of our fan favorite segments. So
it is.
2, 1. I mean, it gets better every time.
I've told you that. You say that every time. You say that every time, and it gets better every time.
It really does. I mean, credit to the staff though; they come up with some good stuff every week. Though I don't know how much of it's you and how much it's them, but it's amazing.
I don't leave the heat outside; I bring it inside.
So, going right into the top 25, some good games this week. Our boy Hoda.
Hoda.
Travels this week, which, by the way, congratulations to him. New job.
Congrats.
Starting, I guess, next week. I think he just jumped out the window and headed on to the new job. I don't know how that worked exactly. I don't think he even did a 2-day notice.
You got to do what you got to do.
I mean, he's a hot commodity. He does what he wants.
Yeah.
He travels on the road at Penn State. This is a short line for this game, right? Like 1.5 or something.
2 points.
But Michigan actually moved ahead of Michigan State this week, which is weird because even though Michigan State cheated, they did beat Michigan.
They did.
But I'm going to pick Michigan to go ahead and win this game. Just because if I didn't, the Hoda would kill us.
I got Michigan by 5.
Where do you come up with 5?
Because it's greater than 2.
So Oklahoma at Baylor. And this is you said Oklahoma is going to lose a game down the stretch. I'm going to say it starts here. Baylor somehow finds a way to beat Oklahoma. I feel like I'm going to regret this when Oklahoma's up by like 20 in the fourth quarter, but I'm going to go with Baylor.
I'm going to go with you. I said this because it seems like almost every year Oklahoma loses a game that they're not picked to lose, and I think this is going to be a prime suspect. But I still think that Oklahoma wins the Big 12 though after this.
Yeah, I think so too. This stretch of last 3 games, I think it's like with them and I think Iowa State and Oklahoma State. The good chances, even if they lose one of those games, they're going to play that team again in the Big 12. Yeah. I think they get them again. So either way, I think Oklahoma is going to win the Big 12 and make the playoff.
Me too.
Move on, Northwestern and Wisconsin.
I'll go with Wisconsin. Not too familiar with Northwestern right now, but Wisconsin.
Nobody is. Northwestern has like one good year, like every 5 years.
Right.
They almost win the thing, and then that's it. This isn't one of those years.
I'll take Wisconsin at home.
Yeah. Utah and Arizona. And I think Utah has maybe Oregon on deck. Arizona won their first game in like 2 years. That's it for them.
I think we're both picking Utah by a lot.
Yeah, Utah by a lot. This is an interesting game. If this was at Purdue, I might be willing to pick Purdue because that's what they like to do is upset it. But at Ohio State's clicking. I think people want to argue about that loss to Oregon, but Ohio State is clearly, to me right now, one of the 4 best teams in the country. I think Ohio State takes this one.
I said this about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Ohio State's really been trending up lately, especially offensively. I think Ohio State wins, but I don't think they cover 20.5.
Yeah, so that's it. Purdue can stay within the number, but no chance of winning. Yeah.
But I do think Ohio State will win the game.
Minnesota now. So who's our Minnesota friend?
Kirby Puckett?
No, the only. I don't think Kirby's even alive, Raj. Jeez.
No, I think he passed away. Rest in peace to KP.
Yes. Mittens.
Oh, how can I forget about little Mittens?
How can you forget Mittens? He's going to be so upset.
Shout out to Mittens. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah. So are you going to pick Minnesota to win then?
For that, yes, I'm picking Minnesota for Mittens.
You don't even care about this game, do you?
I really don't. It's Iowa and Minnesota. I mean, I'm pretty sure Minnesota has like the biggest mall in America or something like that. But other than that, I could care less about this game.
Right. Well, and in regards to that, I couldn't care any less. My caring is at 0. But I will pick Minnesota for Mittens, and I'll be texting him and rooting him on during this game.
All right.
I assume we're just going to skip this game. This looks terrible. Southern Miss, UTSA.
I mean,
I hope UTSA wins and makes the playoffs.
I'm going to go with UTSA too, and they're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm going to go with UTSA.
You don't think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country? Okay, so Maryland at Michigan State. Michigan State got bit by Purdue last week. I think they bounced. Is he still Tua's little brother, or is he old man now?
I think he's his old man. He started off Maryland started off like 4-0, but they have just went downhill ever since. One thing I do want to pay attention to this game, or want people to pay attention to this game, is Kenneth Walker, the third Michigan State running back. I want to say he's like a Heisman candidate. I'm not sure where he is in the rankings, but he's a really good running back. I started paying attention to him probably during the Hoda Bowl when they beat, during that game. And he's a really good running back.
He is. And I think he's probably been just as consistent, if not more consistent, than any of the quarterbacks up at the top. So, definitely marquee games for him. He still, I think, has Michigan is still on deck. Ohio State on deck at some point. So, so he's got a great shot at winning the whole thing.
Yep.
Heisman, not the championship. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Notre Dame at Virginia. This is only notable because Notre Dame at number 9 still only has that one loss to Cincy, which is weird because if you can't put Notre Dame above Cincinnati at any point. The game was that
right.
But in regards to this game, Notre Dame wins.
Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame by about 10.
NC State at Wake Forest. So the interesting thing, Wake Forest does lose to North Carolina last week.
Mm-hmm.
That game, not an ACC game because of weird out-of-conference scheduling. So they're still on track to represent the ACC in the championship game. I still think they finished the year losing 2 games. I think I'm going to take NC State here to get them.
I'm going to go with NC State too. Do you think Wake Forest will lose to Clemson? Or do you want to talk about that?
I'll talk about that when it comes up, but it just feels like Clemson will bounce back at that time and Wake Forest will be trending down at that point. So I think that's what happens. TCU, Oklahoma State keeping their bid alive to win the Big 12. Oklahoma State takes this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Oregon big over Washington State.
Another one of these ridiculously late games that I won't be paying attention to. I'm going to go with Oregon.
And we're going to go Oregon and San Diego State because we just don't really care.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're sorry. We apologize to all the people and their mothers for anybody having to listen to that, but let's get you some SEC action. Everybody's watching me. They're like, why didn't you prepare this beforehand? Well, I can't do everything. I don't have a 20 big staff like Raj. It's just me.
Oh, no, thank you for the coffee. No, thank you.
Thank you. She's still in bed. I don't get coffee. Okay, so Mississippi State at Auburn. I'm going to pick State, even though I think they have no chance of winning this game, just because it's what I would like to happen.
I would like to pick Mississippi State too, but for the record, I'm going to go ahead and pick Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sanford in Florida.
Who cares?
So here's the game you wanted to talk about, right? Well, I mean, if the same people that'll bring up New Mexico State, Alabama, so we can't really talk this week.
I get it. Budgeting dollars, blah, blah, blah. We'll pick Florida. Move on.
Georgia, Tennessee. Go ahead. You had a big prediction for this game.
This is my prediction. Tennessee's going to lose the game. We know that. I don't think Georgia's going to cover. I really don't think so. And I think Tennessee is going to score at least 14 points.
What's the line?
Just don't think. What now?
What's the line?
Georgia by 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think Tennessee's going to score 2 touchdowns. I think their passing game is good enough to get them at least 2 touchdowns. It'll be interesting to watch this game, but overall, I think Georgia's defense is going to be a little too much for them to handle. And it'll also be interesting to see how Georgia's offense plays in this game as well.
Yeah.
So,
and as I say every week now, Braves won the whole thing. Then Georgia will win the whole thing. Then the Falcons will come back and win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the Hawks will win the whole thing.
Yep.
And then the world as we know it will end.
Yeah.
South Carolina, Missouri. So Texas A&M and Ole Miss, that's an interesting game.
Very interesting game.
Texas A&M has to win that and keep rooting against Alabama so they can get to the championship. Ole Miss pretty much out at this point. Can they play spoiler at home?
I'm going to go with A&M. I think their defense is better than Ole Miss's defense. And I don't know. I think Matt Corral is obviously the better quarterback, but I just think A&M's defense is better. So I'm going to go with A&M by a few points.
Yeah. And I think Corral's just getting banged up every week, too. I think A&M will wear him down, too.
It'll definitely be an interesting game, though.
Yeah, I'll have fun with that, 6 o'clock. So are you going to watch that one instead of Kentucky and Vanderbilt?
Yes, definitely. I'll take Kentucky in that other game. It's so interesting to see how Kentucky started to where they are now. I did not think they're going to be 6-3 after that. They started off, 6-0, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to be 6.
Well, I don't think they've lost 3 in a row though. So maybe like 5-0, and they lost to Georgia.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay. 5-0, then they're probably 5-1 now, 6-3.
Yeah.
I think they'll be at 7-3 after this, and they're still pretty good record though.
It's sad that we're sitting here guessing it. Don't you have like a staff of 20 people that can tell you how many games Georgia won and lost?
Speaking of the staff, no, I'm gonna wear the green blazer today. Yeah, for the cocktail party. The green one, yeah. Thanks, Billy. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna wear it whenever I go pick out.
Thanks. I don't have to pick out my own clothes, but
I have to pick out my own. And the last game of the night, Arkansas LSU. I have no idea what to make of this game.
I don't. I'm gonna go with Arkansas by a few points, but as you said, this could go either way. If LSU won, I really wouldn't be surprised. This is gonna be an ugly game. I don't know if LSU is gonna play as good as they played up. Well, did they really play as good last week, or did we just play that bad? I think we played that bad.
Both. Yeah, I think both.
So
I'm also going to go ahead and take Arkansas on that one and root against. Okay. I just don't like Coach O anymore. So it's time for me to go. All right, Ross, thanks for that quick segment. I've got to go to the stove.
Okay.
I'll talk to you tomorrow when we do some NFL stuff.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to go. Oh, how could I forget?
How could you?
I try every week.
You're trying to disrespect me every week. Come on, let's bring it.
Okay. On behalf of Dad's favorite and Mom's favorite, 3, 2, 1.
Wee wee.